Welcome back to another episode of the Fine Line Tattoo Podcast. In this episode, I'm excited to share with you my recent experience in the heart of New York City, spending the week with the incredibly talented team at Dot Creative Group in their beautiful new studio. I had the privilege of getting tattooed by Adam. You know him on Instagram, Adam Dean Art. And while he tattooed me, we went over some of his techniques and approaches, uncovering some really useful tips for all tattooers. In the end, I walked away with a beautiful new tattoo and an inspiring conversation with Adam and the rest of the team. My name is Jake Berry, and this is the Fine Line. I was like so excited to get this that I actually forgot that it hurts.
Yeah, it's not something that you think about until right then.
Yeah.
Until you like, I remember before I was tattooing, now the smell of green soap doesn't mean shit to me, but I was like, always like, oh yeah, fuck. As soon as I smelled that green soap.
Oh, green soap is a trigger?
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, this hurts.
Yeah. Just go?
Let's go for it. Okay. I'm ready when you are. So what's your approach here? Do you do darks first, or do you just kind of get whatever bits of the stencil you feel like you need first?
It kind of depends. On something like this where it could really start anywhere, I'm just kind of testing your skin with this needle and black, because like this is going to be black anyway, so if it's like ends up being super black on the first, it's like not a problem. I'm just kind of getting used to it. I usually just kind of putter around when I start tattooing at first.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see what's up, what I can get away with, how hard I gotta be.
Yeah.
But now that I see, I'll probably get those eyelashes because I don't want the stencil to go away on those.
And you swapped needles there. You kind of test out a few needles and see what works best too?
No, usually, well, yeah, it depends. Right now I'm just doing a single because I'm getting the eyelashes. I don't usually use singles. Sometimes I will for like a first pass if I just have to get something down and I don't want to commit too much to a tone or whatever. Because, you know, it's not too much pigment on there. But yeah, I just switched because these are very small eyelashes.
So you were telling me you took a semi-break from tattooing over the last few months to get this place finished. You did a lot of it yourself. Looks great.
Thank you. I think it was nice to switch creative outlets.
Yeah,
It was very different, but I was doing like a lot of like designing. I had to build there were no shelves that would fit, you know, big printers like that I could find. I mean, there were some that I could find, but they were like insanely expensive. Yeah. Something that was made out of wood. I mean, we could have got like a wire one, but so I ended up like stuff like that. I built that table.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Thanks. I'm using the dynamic grit wash set. This is 20%.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's I've never actually used that set, but
I think I just like it because not many companies will tell you what the wash actually is. And Dynamic tells you this is 20% black, 40% black, 60% black, and 80% black.
Oh, you mean instead of like light, medium, dark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an easier time visualizing like what that is.
Sure.
How's it feeling? Not too bad?
No, it's not too bad at all. It's fine, actually. Like switching gears back into tattooing, do you feel like you're gonna kind of jump back into it with designs that you already have that you want to do?
Yeah, I've been designing still pretty much the whole time.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of like super finished product stuff, but I got a lot of like half done like ideas that I kind of wanted to just like get out of my head.
Yeah.
So I have, you know, some stuff that I'm working on now that I'm pretty excited about. So I'll be posting those, and yeah, I'm definitely trying to steer a little bit, be a little more selective of what I'm doing.
That's cool. I feel like that's a good spot to be in though when you're not tattooing all the time. I feel like it kind of gives you, like I remember going through a little break, even if it's like only a few weeks, you know, and it gives you a break to kind of like recalibrate what you want to be doing, you know?
And also like being creative and coming up with creative ideas that people are going to want to get it's not easy. It takes time. At least it takes me like quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'm just like trying to figure out what I want to do. And a lot of the stuff I make is just the result of accidents or just messing around and one thing, you know, sparking another thing. I rarely say like, oh, I'm going to make whatever, you know, this design. It's usually just kind of just messing around and like, oh, this goes cool with this, or this made me think of this, and then I'm on a totally different direction. So
that's cool. Yeah. So you kind of let your design steer a little bit.
Yeah, I post sometimes like my design time lapses from Procreate, and you can see there like it's from what it starts out as to what it ends.
Right.
A lot of times very different. Like the one that's up there on the shelf that started out a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorite designs that you've made. You didn't have it framed last time. Yeah, it looks good.
Thanks. It doesn't actually fit. I gotta get those things are not easy to frame because they're thick and they're kind of odd size.
Oh, right.
It's not like a standard frame size, so it's sticking out a little bit. Somebody actually threw that frame out in my apartment. It was brand new and still wrapped, so I just yanked it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I feel that now.
Yeah.
That's good.
You like it?
Now we're
tattooed.
Now we're getting tattooed. There's a lot of that's the thing with tattooing. You do get a lot of like emotional attachment to the tattoos as well.
Yeah, memorial tattoos. That's like as for like a portrait tattoo artist. I don't know. To me, that's like it's the best thing that we can do for somebody. I think that's really insane. I can't think of anything else in my life that I could do for somebody like that, where it's
totally,
people get emotional.
And that's amazing. But yeah, I feel like you know what it was? Ever since I became a dad, without getting like all soft.
Yeah.
It
makes you think of things.
Dude, I've just become so mushy.
Yeah.
And I can't handle like when I hear sad situations like that. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm like such a crier now with movies and everything. It'll be like a commercial.
Dude, I've always been a crier.
Really?
Yeah. If it's like something that's like, it's not usually sad things. It's like nice things.
Really?
That fucking get me. Yeah.
Like happy moments?
Yeah.
That's funny. We're flying.
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting I haven't wiped it with like liquid yet. I'm just getting the stencil down mostly.
What are we using here? We're using a Bishop wand.
4.2.
4.2.
And
is that the Packer?
It's a Packer. I like it because it's same reason you use a 4.0 stroke. It's just more to the point. A lot of times I'll do a first pass like this, just so I can kind of see everything at one time. I can't do just like bottom to top, like printing.
Okay.
I kind of need like references of tones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just getting down sort of like a base layer that doesn't have a terrible amount of detail. It has everything that I need. And then, we'll not have to worry about the stencil anymore, so I can, wash you with like Bactine or green soap or something, get everything out, and then a lot of this is going to lighten up a bit.
Sure.
And then we'll go from there and just render it.
Yeah. Here's my question. What, like, do you find, because I feel like sometimes if I'm doing something like that, if I'm going to try to like just gently get some of the detail in there and then go back in and render it later, I can irritate the skin too much. You know what I mean?
So that's why I usually use, well, it depends. I mean, that's kind of how I've been tattooing from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's how Z tattoos as well. Yeah, you just kind of gotta, there is a line you gotta be careful.
Because that's just one thing I love. I guess I don't finish totally as I go either. I guess like what I would kind of do is if I'm trying to get my stencil in there, or at least like keep my stencil, rather than using like a bloodline or something, I'll kind of like shade only certain parts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So then you have like a reference, like a grid almost for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's like, if I want to keep an edge or something, I'll shade to that edge rather than like just lining it or kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's
Same kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think that's actually better.
Yeah.
I have like a habit of this just kind of, I wish I was able to do that. I think that is better way of doing it. Well, I'll switch. So after this, I will switch to, hold on, I gotta see my stencil for a sec. So I usually do the first pass with so I'll do tones that are like 50% and darker. A lot of times I will do with the packer, 50% and lighter I'll do with the lighter stroke machine.
Okay, cool. I need to do that.
So I'm also going to like the base layer that I was talking about. A lot of times it's a darker tone than I need it to be, and I'll do it sort of light, but it's getting in there because it's, you know, the strong machine. But then, so once I wash this, so I'm just gonna get this little bits down, the last pieces I need. We're gonna wash it, and then I'm gonna do the rest of it with a softer machine. So all the rendering. Cool. So now I have like a structure there, and like if you squint, the black is there, the dark is there, and then we'll use the tones. Like a lot of times I'll start with a dark tone. If I need like a medium tone, sometimes I will use a very dark tone in the beginning, lightly, and then maybe a lighter tone, and then maybe even another lighter tone after like the Ralph Nonweiler blending stuff. And that's what I think we were talking about, large, not necessarily large, but big smooth areas of saturation. That's how I do it.
Interesting. So like, yeah, you're using a heavier hitting machine, lighter, and then you'll go into using a lighter tone, harder kind of thing.
Correct.
That's cool. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I just don't use multiple machines in my tattoos. I use the same machine the whole time, and I think it's just because it's like what I'm, like you said, like that's just what I've always done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all have things like that, like where you've just been doing that since the beginning, kind of thing, and then you just won't switch because it's a habit, you know?
I love changing things and switching things up in tattooing, but there's certain things are, you know, not risky at all, and some things kind of, you know, I don't want anything to heal not properly because I'm trying something else out.
That's also a factor, yeah, exactly.
This machine, it's throwing me off because I've never used this one. It's the same size as my other one, but it's like a different sound.
Oh.
And like this is 9 volts. Isn't that quiet?
Really? Wow. Yeah.
It's 9 volts, but it's a very soft machine. Oh wait, you said you've already used it.
I have used it. Ooh, yep, there we go. I have used it. And it is very soft. That's a shader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very soft. Which would be great in some cases.
Yeah, so like what we were talking about, I'm going to have to do multiple layers. I wouldn't want to do that with the 4.2. I want to tattoo myself with this machine. This is Inal's.
Oh, is it?
I stole it from him.
Yeah, that's quiet. All right. Back at it.
Back at it.
We took a little break and got some juice. Oh yeah, it's always a different ball game after a break, isn't it? Recently, personally, I went through, I don't know if I want to call it a phase or season. I was talking to someone else about this recently, but where my confidence was just real low. And I know that that's a common struggle with artists, tattoo artists. I feel like everyone I talk to, it's like everyone can relate to that, is on that same page. I mean, maybe not everyone, but
everyone who's good.
What?
Everyone who's good.
Everyone who's good struggles with confidence sometimes, right? I don't know, what shakes your confidence the most? What affects your confidence? Or do you notice times when your confidence is low?
No, I think it's just always low. I don't think it ever, it's never high. Yes. I always feel like I can do better. I always know I can do better. I'm never happy with any of my tattoos that I do. Yeah. I mean, I might like some of them and I'm happy about it. And then I'll go home and I'll look at the pictures and I'm like, yeah, I could have done this or whatever. Or like, why did this take me so long? It's very hard here. I will say there's a lot of good artists here who are very fast.
Like in the studio?
In this, that I work with, yeah. So that can be nerve-wracking when clients, you're doing something that's small and it's taking you longer than somebody next to you who's doing, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, somebody who's doing something that's even better than what you're doing, and they're doing it faster.
I know.
It's not the most, it's not the best feeling.
Yeah. But
I think efficiency though is one of the most valuable things in tattooing. That's, if I had to improve one thing, it would be efficiency.
Yeah. It's like there's like this, I feel like there's like a golden time frame or like period of time in your tattoo where it's like you're the most productive and you feel like you're the most, and then like I feel like I hit a wall at a certain point of every tattoo. I feel like not a wall, but it's like I get to this like
the diminishing returns.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to this like slow down spot. So I've learned like what it is I need to get done in that time period of, you know, that like really efficient time.
Yeah, what's important for the overall tattoo.
Right. And then, because knowing that that's going to come, knowing that slow down part is going to come, I'm almost like anticipating that.
So you have like almost like a checklist or like a goal for yourself to get to before you hit that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like every tattoo is different, obviously, but yeah, like I'll go into it going like, okay, I need this at least before I break for lunch. Okay. You know, or whatever. And that I feel like gives me a little bit more like, I don't know, comfort or ease going into the second half of the day. Yeah. You know, where I'm not like,
I would definitely think that the first half of the tattoo, so like basically when I'm relying on a stencil, is a lot more stressful than the rendering part where I'm not relying on a stencil.
Right.
Like I'm definitely a lot more comfortable in this phase of the tattoo than...
Yeah, definitely. So like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, and everyone's different. Like some people like have to ease into their flow. Like some people are like, you know, they work great at nighttime, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like my best time is like in the morning, you know?
So I feel like, you start earlier than we do, but I'm like a night person. I have to like, I need time. I can't go home and sleep right after tattooing. I'm like wired in a weird way. Z and I call it like tattoo tired. It's like a specific tired. You can be very drained and very tired, but not sleepy, you know?
Yeah.
Like I could not go to sleep.
Do you feel like the tattoo market has become more saturated since post-pandemic?
Yes, I do think so.
More tattoo artists?
More tattoo artists. Some people I've seen really good. Other people I think probably won't be tattooing, you know, in 5 years. What do you think?
I definitely think there's more tattoo artists than there ever has been. I think there's more really good tattoo artists than there ever has been.
Yep.
It's becoming less common to come across a tattoo artist that blows me away.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm wondering what's going to happen there. But in another way, it's really nice because I feel like more people are getting tattooed than ever before.
Yep.
And maybe the more amazing tattoo artists that are out there, the more people are going to be
exposed to better tattoos.
Yeah, which is going to lead to more people just getting tattooed.
Yeah, it doesn't bug me. I would say I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff over and over again, which I don't think is going to be sustainable for everybody. And a lot of it is not really like artistic. It's not very artistic. It's it's something that a skill that can be learned, and other people will learn it. And I think it's going to keep happening. I think more and more people will be tattooing, and I think. Sorry, it's really hard to like think. Basically, you're going to get outclassed. I think. I think a lot of people that just started tattooing that will do so. Like I, used to do dogs or whatever.
Yeah.
There are so many amazing dogs out there, people who do dog tattoos. So now it's, that one person that was doing dog tattoos in the city. Yeah. Now there's, 4. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if it's not a creative thing, it's going to be hard. You're going to have to be the best at it.
Sure. So you might get outperformed by technique.
Mm-hmm.
So you think you almost kind of have to start relying more on design.
I personally have been switching to, working more on my design, because that's what, in my opinion, the easier way nowadays to stand out.
Yes.
Is style.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. I personally feel like I've spent the last 2 or 3 years only focused on my technique.
Mm-hmm.
Like just trying to do the best tattoos I can do.
Yeah.
You know?
And your tattoo, you've been killing it.
Well, thank you.
I've noticed a massive difference in your... Come in. Yo.
What's up?
Hello.
One of 3.
Okay, from now on, I'm gonna continue the tattoo.
All right, hop in there. Inal's in the house.
Yes.
How's your tattoo going?
Slow.
Yeah.
It's so detailed. Did you see it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's like another.
Say what's up to the people.
Oh, there's another one over there too.
Yeah, we got cameras all over in here. We got them, and we got one up there.
Oh hell. Wow, no hiding spots.
Yeah,
So,
we got a lot of talent in the building.
No, we start from you.
Just to recap, I'm definitely on the same page as you. I'm kind of starting to focus more on. I want to start focusing more on designs. But anyways, next question is: has anything changed since the last time we did this podcast? This person is asking specifically in your technique, but if there's anything you can think of.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a good... I've definitely changed. I use a stronger machine now.
Okay.
Not for everything, but I used to use basically number 10, so like bug pins for everything, and now I use number 10s, number 12s, number 8s.
Yeah.
And also 2 different strength machines, and I think it's helped with healing and just retaining that like 3D look when it heals. I've never been a small needle. I've never really done a lot of like all single, all
stuff.
3. Yeah, I've always used big needles. 11 mag used to be like my favorite when I was like starting out.
That's still my favorite needle.
Yeah, it's great. 13, 11, curved, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So kind of maybe just like using more.
Yeah.
More of a variety.
So actually, yeah. Let's just, I think that's, I could probably go on all day, but it's going to sound crazy. I'm pretty bad at like describing my tattoo process. That's why I haven't done a seminar or anything yet, because like...
It's just a feeling.
Yeah, just do it.
You just feel like it. Yeah. Okay, here's another question. What are your tattoo goals? What are your future tattoo goals?
I have to think about that one. Do you have an answer for that?
I'd have to think about that too. I think mine would go back to what we were just talking about with wanting to get better designs.
Yeah.
So like focusing, like transitioning my focus on cool artistic designs, rather than just focusing on technique.
I think I have a decent answer for that.
Go ahead.
I really want to, and I've been working on this for a while, and I think it's very tricky. I would like to be really good at simplifying anything. Mostly, like photorealism stuff, without losing realism. Without losing depth, without losing realism. Just getting I think Inal is really good at that.
Yeah, totally.
The way he does hair and stuff, like I didn't even know you were still here.
Awkward.
Yeah, we talked about this though. I think you're really good at that. Like the Beatles tattoo that you just posted.
Shapes. I love the way that.
But it's efficiency. It's like the way your brain works. It's not easy. I mean, this is something that came probably from you drawing your entire life. Yeah. So you've,
What you're saying is 100% right. The same for me. I want to get to the design shit, but for me it's just very hard.
Dude, you're fucking Your freaking designs are awesome.
What do you mean designs? I just literally, the laziest tattoo artist.
It's not though. It's not like even that simplicity too. You're still making composition. Those two things, whatever, were not together. You put them together, and they're together in a way that
What do you mean?
works
Which
as
one?
a tattoo. Well, I don't know. I don't remember what the Beatles was.
Beatles? That's from a picture.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
You usually take things that are put them together to where it makes sense for a tattoo. The contrast is there, the depth is there, all that.
Yeah, but that's
even
still-
suddenly just having a fade that works well as a composition is
But
a
that's
skill.
like to get to.
Dude, didn't you make that Drake flying plane thing?
Oh yeah, that's my hand.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's my hand.
That's what I'm talking about.
And just
That was very cool. It was
Really?
unique. I've never seen anything
that's
like
my
that.
hand. I was like, I was taking a picture like.
Yeah, I use my hands all the time.
So.
Yeah.
But technical, probably that. But technically, I think we get into the point like artists are so good, you're so good, you're so good. Like, what can you do more? People expecting so much more now on the skin, but like, what can you do more?
Yeah, what's the next level?
I mean, like, if you're not photoshopping, you cannot do
over
better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you're not like just taking the picture, just like putting it on the skin,
Yeah.
and you're making that tattoo talk.
Yeah.
What can you do more? Like, I think like we reached to the point.
yeah, it's as
not-
good as it can get.
Yeah.
People are gonna tell like, oh, you can always get better, but I think like, that's the thing. You can get better made with the design, with this, that, but like
Better healing.
technically, it's not
As
it's
good
the
as it
skin.
gets. Yeah.
It's like it's almost like on the paper now. So
Yeah,
I
so
agree,
what's
and I think that's recent that we've hit that plateau.
Yeah.
we hit that, since the pandemic. People got a lot of time to focus
Yeah.
on themselves, work a lot.
Yeah.
and some artists put the technique so high, but the younger generation, they don't have the choice no more to start from the bottom. They have to start straight from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But-
really good.
yeah, but sometimes it's bad too, right? So
So you feel like the next step, the only thing you can do is just come up with cool designs.
yeah,
Yeah.
not cool designs, but something a little bit maybe worked out.
More unique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more unique, or it's just, listen, I'm just gonna tell you something. We are at the point, or when you're looking back, at one point everybody was as a DJ. I don't know.
Yes,
Everybody was
dude,
buying those
I-
CDGs, like
CDJs.
CDJs. I don't know.
Yeah.
At one point, everybody was a photographer. I could see those boys, girls, 16 years old, buying those big ass 5Ds, Canon, super expensive, barely taking pictures.
Yeah.
At one point, everybody was modeling, doing like those portfolios. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but now I feel like everybody's a tattoo artist. I don't want to sound like a dinosaur, like an old dude, but I think right now with the media, we track that attention probably. So probably what's going to happen is just after the saturation, only the ones who is still putting into it, they're going to stay. You know what I mean?
Oh, so, okay. Yeah. So it's
Right.
like
It's
gonna-
not that easy as people think.
Yeah.
I think that's what I was saying. Like, I think a lot of the people who started are going to not be tattooing
Sure.
super long because it's not. It is a. I think it's like about as cool of a job as you can have, and I
It's
love it.
amazing.
And it's a lifestyle.
But like,
It's not easy.
no.
No.
It's a lot to balance, especially if you have a family, if you have
Exactly.
a normal life.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot to balance.
What's,
And you have to
uh,
put a lot into it, and if you're not, if it's not something that you have to do, then I think you're going to get burnt out. I think it's an easy thing to get burnt out, even if you're very, very passionate
Yeah.
about tattooing. But if you don't have that passion, I think it's going to
Absolutely.
be short-lived.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there was that saying, if you, how was that? Like, if you choose something you like, to do
you'll
in your
never
life,
work.
You'll never work again in life.
Yeah.
That's so not true.
That's not true. I'm putting even like more hours.
I know that's the biggest
So-
bullshit ever. I talked about that with someone recently.
So-
You work more if
But-
you love what you do.
But
Yeah, because it never stops. But I will say that it's a different thing. I don't have the feeling of like I used to dread going into work, doing meetings
Yeah.
and having projects to work on and having whatever code reviews by a bunch of different people who have different goals and all this, and it's
Yeah.
like just political BS. I have not had that feeling since the day I walked
Yeah.
out. I quit my job and walked
that's
out
a
of the
different
office.
feeling.
So
It is different.
yeah, it's a different.
But it's still a
It's
lot
still
of work.
tiring. It's
Yeah.
still draining.
And if you want to make it like a sustainable like career,
Yeah.
you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
So that's why I feel like at one point we're gonna have a lot of people that just getting away from it. Because
Yeah. Here's another question. I got 2 more questions for you. Okay.
Yep.
We're coming to the finish line here. What's something that you would say you pay attention to as an advanced artist? Someone, I guess, for far along in your career.
I wouldn't say I'm far along in my career.
Well, you're a very good, established tattoo artist.
Thanks.
Objectively.
What do I pay attention to?
It could be anything.
When I look at tattoos, I would say photography because a lot of people are messing around. You know,
Messing around.
goofing off a little too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like to see, like Pony always says, I like to see needle marks. I like to see that as well.
Yeah.
I like to see process videos a lot.
Okay.
I think it's interesting that I think in tattooing there's like a million ways to skin a cat. You know, to get a dark tone, you can make a bigger dot with a thicker needle. You can use a darker pigment. You can do more passes with lighter pigment to an extent.
I love that.
So I like to see the different ways that people achieve something because there are a ton of different ways in tattooing that you can get to the same outcome.
That's an interesting point because we were talking earlier about seminars and taking people's seminars, and you start to realize there are multiple ways to get the same result.
Yeah.
Or a good result,
Yeah.
I should say. Which kind of just makes it kind of just makes you feel like, okay, well, I got to find my way then.
Yeah,
You know?
this is my biggest thing with tattooing. I don't like it when people are dogmatic about anything in tattooing.
Sure.
Because almost 100% of the time you're going to be wrong because there is not one way that is the only way to do it, and people insist. But I understand if you're teaching somebody and this is the way you do it, that makes
Yeah.
sense. But to say that this is the only way that this can be done is almost always going to be an incorrect statement in tattooing.
Yeah, I would always say the only thing that matters is the result.
Yes.
Okay, so like if it finishes good and it heals well, I don't care how you got there.
Yeah.
You know, as long as it's clean, right?
Yep.
And when I was teaching, was like, I'm going to show you what I do, but ultimately, the only thing that matters is the result. And I would say that actually more so for them to be careful and cautious about what they listen to from other people or from me.
Not necessarily that it's wrong, but like be aware that there you can get to that, you know, that the same result this way, and this way.
Sure.
I don't like those ways. I can't do that. But be aware that you can,
Right.
and try what works best for you, because you trying to fit into my box of how I work may not, you know, it may be detrimental to you. So I think that's the biggest thing in tattooing, learning tattooing, is experimenting and trying things out.
Yeah.
And like you said, seeing what works for you, for your hand speed, for your pressure, for your whatever, you know?
Well, like I think there is something to be said about, like, I would say to people, okay, if someone's giving you advice or tips, look at their work.
Yes.
Okay, so if they're not doing good tattoos, I don't care how long they've been tattooing, I don't care how much knowledge they claim to have, don't listen to them. If there's someone out there doing really good tattoos and they heal really well, and they've only been tattooing for X amount of time, and they give you some advice, I mean, that is like gold.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
They figured that out
Exactly.
quicker than most people.
Exactly.
Or, yeah.
So all that matters is results. Like, if the tattoo looks good, if they know what they're doing, and you can clearly see that they're really good, listen to those people. Yeah. So I think that's really valuable. That was a great answer.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay, the last question here. What's your favorite subject? What did it say? What's your favorite subject to tattoo besides portraits?
To me, I don't have a subject. I just like striking images. Like, high contrast, something that looks fun to tattoo. Like you know what techniques you're gonna use. I don't have like cars or something. Like I like doing shiny things. Reflective stuff is always awesome. Yeah. I think stuff that can look very realistic without much, which I think that is kind of like reflections, is really fun to tattoo.
Yeah, I know what you mean. One of my favorite things to tattoo is something that is realistic, but kind of animated.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool. It's like that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That and like especially when you see something like that, I'll have to pull that up to the camera. When you see something like that mixed with like hyper realistic stuff, I love that style.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love one of my favorite things to do is exaggerate drop shadows.
Yeah.
Like, especially if there's something like, say, like a hair coming over a face. I'll like create a drop shadow of the hair on the, or something like that, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It gives it a little more impact.
Yeah, totally. And that's one thing I've learned to do as well, more of, is messing with my reference a little bit before I go into the tattoo is like...
You know what? One of the best things anybody ever showed me was in Ralph Nonweiler's seminar. Mm-hmm. Instead of using contrast, have you ever used in Photoshop? It's like in the camera raw filter. It's the clarity.
Okay.
I forgot what like the definition of what it actually does is, but it does. Contrast is like only the highlights and shadows, and everything else in the middle sort of stays the same, but the midtones are more affected when you do the detail, so it doesn't change like the quality of it. It is where like sharpness and all those options are, but I'll show you. It's like a way better. It's literally like make this reference better for a tattoo slider.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They should rename it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's what I did with this, because this was a pretty flat picture.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to have some depth to it.
I've been doing a lot of I've been using this app. I know Photoshop does it too, but it's actually an app, and I find it to be really good for like restoring old photos or like bad quality photos.
Yeah.
And it's even if it's not that bad of a quality of a photo, I feel like it's
just
just to see what it looks like. And 9 times out of 10, I'm happy with it. There's every once in a while where I feel like it's like making up some information.
Mm-hmm. You can tell it has the little slider, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, and you can always like, if it's a family member or something, you can always run it by the person.
That's right, and that's what I always do is like, does this still look like that person?
Mm-hmm. I used to like the content-aware fill. It's not great yet, but it'll do the job for a lot of things. Like sometimes I'll just need... Maybe I took the photo landscape and I need it, the other way.
Yeah.
Just to extend the background a little bit so it doesn't have to be cropped or so close up when I upload it to Instagram. Like that fake arm that I'm doing, the reference that I have is like a hand. It's in kind of a weird position. And I just needed to extend it like a little bit, but I mean it was such a weird position for a hand that like if I tried to draw and I was like, something not right about it.
Okay.
And I just used that content-aware fill, and it was perfect.
Yeah, I feel like that is pretty. It's pretty good. I feel like it works if you almost like take a photo set up for that.
Yeah.
If you but I mean we're just getting so much. It's getting so much better. Like technology, it's actually insane.
Yeah.
I won't get into the AI topic, but.
Yeah, it's a whole other podcast, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I use it sometimes.
Oh, I love it.
It's great.
I use it all the time for references.
Yeah, that's great for references, And you know what's cool about it as well is now you have, say for your client, they're getting an original...
Yeah, nobody else is going to have that.
They're having they get an original lion, you know what I mean, rather than a recycled...
So I'm working on, I'll show you, I'm working on a leg sleeve that is... 7 Wonders of the Ancient World.
Cool.
And it is almost entirely AI references.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. I use it a lot for animals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really crazy. I love it. It's very fun, but you can get lost in it too sometimes. Like
Definitely.
all day long, like searching, making references and stuff.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I usually like to talk about other tattoo artists at least once in every podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know who's been on your radar recently, or some tattoo artists that have stood out to you. That
Max 28.
Max 28.
Oberov tattoo. He's at Inked, I believe. He's Russian. I'll show you. He's insanely talented, really cool designs. You know, it's mostly compositions that I'm like jealous of everybody on.
Really? Yeah.
It's just like everything he does, killing it. All right, let's do white thing.